Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's program through Triad and Aging Together. We are just so delighted that you're here today. I'm really looking forward to this. As some of you may know, we had to condense last week's part one or a couple weeks ago, it was part one with today's part two. So it's going to be a lot of really great information. My name is Ellen Phipps. I am with Aging Together, and Aging Together connects people to resources and to communities to improve quality of life as we age. So, a lot of what we do is working with our partners to bring you programs and services, and such as this one, and really excited about that. Most of the planning and organizing for today's program was done by one of our volunteers extraordinaire, Lisa Dodson, and I'm going to turn it over to her in just a minute. But just to say that Lisa has just done a great job organizing not only this triad series, but also we had a summer caregiver series that she put together. She's very involved with our conference, which is happening next week. Go to our website at agingtogether.org if you want more information about the conference. And she also does tremendous work for veterans resources and health fairs. So we are grateful for all she does. And Lisa, I'm just going to turn it over to you now to introduce our speaker. And you're on mute.
Thank you so much for such a gracious introduction. I appreciate that. Well, we are excited today to have Stephen Izaguirre here with us. And he is going to share with us recognizing scams and fraud. But I anticipate quite a few questions at the very end. So I just wanted to make a quick note and let you know before I introduce him that not to forget that our next presentation in this series, this triad series, is a roadmap to estate planning, and it is a phenomenal presentation. Catherine Cherapich will be doing that for us. She's local here in Culpeper, and I've actually seen her do this presentation. It's very good. So if you've not signed up for this, I strongly suggest that you go out and do that today at the Aging Together website. So Stephen, it joined the office of the Attorney General's office in August of 2019. And he is the Northern Virginia Community Outreach Coordinator. And his role is to educate the public about a variety of topics to prevent victimization. And of course, our focus is seniors. And so that's his as well. And additionally, his role is to link agencies and individuals with the resources available through the Attorney General's office. The Northern Virginia Community Outreach Coordinator also works in depth with senior citizen organizations such as triads, healthcare providers, and work groups to prevent our older adults from becoming the victims of crime and healthcare fraud. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Stephen. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Ellen. That was a great intro. And good afternoon now to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Stephen Izaguirre. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator, and I do cover Northern Virginia, but I have several counterparts that cover other parts of the state. So I'll go ahead and start by sharing my screen. And you should be seeing my screen now. Is that correct? All right, so here we go. Let me just adjust one other thing. But on my screen, while I get this situated, is my contact information. I invite you to snap a photo of that screen and reach out to me should you have any questions or would like a presentation. As community outreach coordinators, we do strive to kind of keep in touch with the community, as well as give educational presentations and represent the office at local events with a table and goodies that we like to get set up. So that's my contact information. I am based out of Fairfax, but again, I cover a pretty large area. So let's see here. That's our map of our outreach zones. I'm in the light blue up top. Amy Duncan, who's actually on the call with me today, is down in the Abingdon area, so far southwest Virginia, and I have other counterparts that cover the other regions. So we're out here as a resource to you and to help you. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started, though, the Office of the Attorney General is the Commonwealth's law firm. In addition to representing the interests of all the people of Virginia, the clients of the office are the Virginia state government and the state agencies, boards, and commissions that compose it. However, we cannot give private citizens legal advice, unfortunately. So if there is a private dispute that requires some legal advice, the office cannot give you advice, and I am not an attorney, so I definitely couldn't give you advice. All right. So today we're going to discuss frauds and scams and the basic ones that you may encounter. Our objective today is to get a basic overview of the general frauds and scams you could encounter, especially the ones that target older adults. However, a lot of these scams could target just the general population. We're talking about folks in college, or even just your all age groups. So the other objective is to have to utilize this knowledge to be able to protect yourself and to protect your friends from these scams and frauds that you may encounter. So that's the general goal of the presentation today. It's a lot of information in a very short window. 1 hour is really not enough time to be able to discuss each of these scams in detail. So I do apologize in advance if some of this does seem a bit rushed. The original intention was to have this in 2 segments, but we weren't able to do that because COVID decided to visit me a few weeks ago and ruined our plans. So I like to start off my presentations with this picture because I think this is a great picture. You have some folks having a good time on the water, surfing, paddleboarding, and underneath the water, you have a really huge shark, which is identified by the red arrow to the left. So I like to think of being on the internet and getting these phone calls on your phone every time that phone rings as this scenario right here. It's very important to be aware of your surroundings, aware of what possible dangers may lurk beneath the surface. So awareness will help keep you safe, okay? So like the shark in the water, these con artists, these scam artists are very much like predators. They have a predatory mindset. They only care about getting your money from you. They know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but they're willing to do what they do by deceit and by pulling on your emotional strings to be able to get you to give them your money. They do not have a moral compass like most folks have. They're not moved by your story. They're not moved by the personal difficulties you may have had. They really don't care, even though they may sound caring on the phone. They don't. Their goal is to simply get that money from you and maybe get your personal information so they can milk you for some more money in the future, or use your credit, open accounts in your name, and so on. So, there's that notion that, oh, I wish they would just leave me alone. I wish they would just know that I worked so hard all my life. They don't want to hear that personal sob story. They're not interested in it, unfortunately. They just don't have that regard for other humans and the work that they've done. So, and in many cases, it's important to remember some of these scam artists are in foreign countries, and they have some difficult life circumstances over there where there may be. And they have that mentality that, you know what, the folks in the United States have a better life. They have more money than we do. And it's justified for me to take this money from them because they are way better off than me. And I'm here in this, difficult situation and living this lifestyle, and I can't be over there, or my country's not in the best situation. So that's kind of the mentality they have. So something to be aware of whenever you're dealing with these folks. A lot of them are not worried about getting caught. The reason, frankly, is a lot of them are outside the judicial arms of the United States. They're in foreign countries, and sometimes these foreign countries don't have the diplomatic relations to be able to bring it to a resolution when the FBI or other law enforcement agencies decide they want to come arrest someone in their country. But on top of that, there's a lot of technological challenges. You have the ability to mask your location using the internet. You can use a network of computers to kind of hide where you are. You can make it appear like you're in New York, but in reality, you're in somewhere in Eastern Europe. So technology has advanced a lot and has made it very difficult for law enforcement to be able to find some of these scam artists. They are also aware that many folks don't even report the scams, and there's a variety of factors that come into play on why this doesn't happen. But some of the ones I've listed on the screen here is folks tend to be embarrassed. Oh man, I got duped, $5,000. I can't believe I fell for this. I should have known better. I've sat through Stephen's presentations and I still fell for it, but it just seems so real. Man, am I really going to go tell my friends what happened to me? Maybe I'll just keep that to myself. They might be fearful, a victim might be fearful of telling family. Older adults who maybe are already arguing with family and loved ones that, hey, I deserve to still be in my home living by myself. The last thing they would want to share is that they got duped out of some money by a scammer, because then perhaps the family will then look at them as, hey, look, this is a evidence that you can't live by yourself. You should probably go to an assisted living facility or a nursing facility or what have you. So, there's that fear of telling family. Scammers know this with older adults, not likely to share that. Older adults come from a generation where you could shake someone's hand, you could give them your word. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. Politeness and respect was a very big deal, and it's a very strong value during this generation. Something that we kind of, I think, lost over the years recently. And so they know, because of that politeness and respect, you're not as likely to hang up on them. You're going to engage in their conversation because you don't want to be rude to the scammer. At least that's what they're hoping on. And so as they talk to you and engage you, that just allows them more opportunity to kind of create the story they need to deceive you. Okay. And finally, these scams can get complicated and they can be hard to explain. So by the time you realize you've been scammed, it's like, how do you explain all this, all the different details? Oh, well, it was multiple phone calls. This lasted several days. I went to the store several times. And how do I explain all this to the officer that's now at my door with his notepad, trying to get a grasp of everything? So the lack of details and that confusion can make it very hard for you to make a report, to even start the law enforcement process to be able to get to them. Scam artists are counting on loneliness, especially with older adults. Older adults, especially like in rural areas, or who may not be so close to the family or not have as much family around. Older adults who are lonely tend to want to talk more on the phone, and they're willing to engage in conversation with someone they don't know by phone. Same thing with someone coming knocking at the door. More likely to want to just chit chat. And unfortunately, that chit chat is an opportunity for the scam artist to establish a rapport with you and that connection, and then do what they want to do to try to get your money. Okay. They're relying on confusion. Some older adults can get easily confused. If you barrage them with a lot of information quickly on a phone call that there's a threat of some kind, or they've done something wrong and action needs to be taken right now, or else, in that overload of emotions, folks can be confused and just act without really thinking about what they're doing. They rely on fear as part of those components. And I'll get more into that here in a few minutes. the key to remember is this whole story, their whole engagement is based on deception and applying pressure. All right. It's all about making a irrational decision. So if you were to kind of like simplify into a few steps, this would kind of be what it looks like. So the scam artist wants to establish a rapport and trust using deception. Okay. So if it's a telephone call, it could, your phone could ring at home and it's like, hello, I'm Officer John Doe with the Fauquier County Sheriff's Office. I'm calling because there's a concern that's come across my desk. It appears that you might have a warrant out for some traffic fines you didn't pay. All right. So the rapport is established, and that trust is established by identifying themselves as a law enforcement officer, a local one at that. And, again, with older adults, just being in a position of authority like a law enforcement officer is enough to establish that rapport and trust. They communicate an urgent matter or an emergency. So in the example I just gave, there's a warrant out for this person's arrest because of unpaid traffic fines. And so now the victim's ears perk up and like, wait a minute, I might be in trouble with the local and law enforcement. Why? What's going on? And so, the call can then proceed on to like, well, there's a warrant out for your arrest. Deputies are already en route to your house. But I decided, because you're an older adult, I wanted to give you a call and give you an opportunity to resolve this by phone and avoid the embarrassment of having a marked patrol car at your house. Let's resolve this by paying your fine by phone. It's $300. Let's do credit, whatever. And then they'll lead you down to the payment route. Okay. And again, if you're overloaded and you're nervous and you think you're legitimately in trouble with the law, you're more likely to act by giving them a payment. So if there's any pushback from the person at this point, like, well, I don't know, it's like, well, look, now we're going to go to step 4, reinforce urgency and the emergency to secure action from the victims. All right. So let's reinforce that. Oh, I don't know if I want to pay you, officer, because I don't know about this traffic fine. I don't recall ever getting a ticket. Well, I understand that, but if you don't pay me, the deputies are 10 minutes away. They're over at the McDonald's and they'll be to your house in just a little bit. And we're just going to arrest you. We're going to bring you in and your fine's going to double. They'll concoct some kind of urgency details like that. And hopefully the victim loses their money by making that payment. Okay. It's real simplified, quick example of how this can unfold. It doesn't have to necessarily be a phone call coming from a law enforcement official. Those same steps can apply to an email that comes in your inbox claiming to be the IRS. It could be a text message to your phone claiming to be from Amazon. And we'll talk about those here in just a minute. A lot of these scammers want payments by gift cards. That's a big deal. And it's a good red flag. If anyone claiming to be the government or an authority of some kind, they're asking you to pay with a gift card, I can just about guarantee that that's a scam. As a former law enforcement officer, I could tell you that out of all the tickets that I've ever given folks, none of them were paid with gift cards. Out of all the different warrants that I've served, nobody got out of their warrant by making a payment by phone. It just has not happened that way. If you do have legitimate business to take care of with the county, with the city, you're going to probably have to go in person and talk to your local law enforcement officers to find out how that would really pan out if you were really in trouble. How would that unfold? Law enforcement officers have a very, very, very dangerous job. And because of that, nowadays everyone has guns and all kinds of tricks up their sleeve. The element of surprise is important. If they're going to come arrest you, they're not going to give you a courtesy call to let you know they're about to come knock at your door and take your freedom away for a few days. It's not going to happen. All right. So these are all red flag signs that you're about to be scammed. So let's go to this video. It's a real quick video from the Federal Trade Commission talking about how scammers want you to pay.
Here at the Federal Trade Commission, we see a lot of different scams, but all scammers want to get your money as quickly as possible in a way that makes it hard to trace them and hard for you to get your money back. I'm going to tell you about some of the common ways scammers want you to pay. Once you know them, you'll know how to spot a scam, and you'll know to be careful if someone asks you to pay that way. First, there's wiring money. Somebody might call you, maybe about a prize you won, a loved one in trouble, or because you supposedly owe taxes or some kind of fee. The story sounds real, and maybe even alarming. The person on the phone rushes you to Western Union or MoneyGram to send the money. But wiring money is like sending cash. You'll almost never get it back, and scammers know that. Another favorite of scammers are gift cards or cash reload cards. Here's how it works. Those same people call, and again, there's a prize, a family emergency, or some fee they want you to pay. They tell you to go to the store and put money on a gift card, like an iTunes card, or a cash reload card, like MoneyPack, Vanilla Reload, or Reload It. Sometimes they'll even stay on the phone with you while you go to the store. Once your money's loaded onto the card, they'll ask for the card's registration numbers. That lets them get the money right away, and you're left with nothing. So now you know, if anyone ever says you have to wire money or pay them with a gift card or cash reload card, that's a scam. No matter who they say they are or how urgent it seems, stop, get off the phone, talk to someone, and then tell us at ftc.gov/complaint.
All right, so the Federal Trade Commission has a lot of videos on their YouTube. That's where this came from. They're a really great source of information on scams and frauds, and I really encourage everyone to look up the Federal Trade Commission on YouTube or go to their website at ftc.gov and kind of invest a little bit of time to find out a little bit more, because again, this is a lot of information today. So the con artist has a few tools to be able to do their job. These are folks this is their profession, is to go out there and deceive folks regularly, to make these calls, to send these emails, and make text messages and what have you, to communicate with the general public. Okay, so there's a few tools that they use. We'll start with spoofing. All right, a lot of folks may not be familiar with the term, but spoofing basically is a form of a digital mask. It allows someone to appear like they're someone else using technology. This could be applied with phone numbers. Your caller ID can say, it's the Fairfax County Police Department, but in reality, it's not the Fairfax County Police Department. It's someone calling from outside the country. Email addresses, same thing. They could have an email address that looks official. However, it's only a mask. If you reply to that email address, it's going to go to someone's private email address, and they're able to communicate with you under that mask. Websites, the web address could be incorrect. Another thing that they can do is throw a letter into the address, be one letter off, do a little slight misspelling. It would then misdirect you. So it's spoofing. These are digital masks that allow the bad person to do bad things to folks by tricking them. Another tool that they have is the ability to impersonate. With practice, they get very effective, but they can impersonate local police. They can impersonate the local court system or a government agency. A lot of the times they're impersonating bigger agencies like the IRS. But I have heard of instances that here in my region that have impersonated the Orange County Sheriff's Office, for example. So these con artists can do a little bit of homework, find out who the sheriff is, maybe look on the agency's website and find out some names of some officers, and then use a local officer's name in the course of their story that they are now feeding to you to try to trick you. Okay, a lot of that information is public. A lot of Information is available on the internet, not just about local law enforcement, but about you. And so that leads us into social. They use social engagement, social tools to be able to target victims. I like to mention a website called familytreenow.com. Familytreenow.com is a online repository of information. You can go on there, you can search yourself, and you will be surprised to find the information that's on the internet about you. Using familytreenow.com, you can find out someone's names, misspellings of their names, aliases. You can find out who their possible relatives are, who their possible associates are, the current and previous phone number and address for that person. And then for all of the people that are listed under you as folks that you may know or be related to, you can click on that person's information and then it'll show you the information for that person. And this is just free information that's out there. I don't know if they're pulling it from social media. I don't know if they're pulling it from another source, but they have it. So familytreenow.com is just one example of many of what's called data mining companies that are out there collecting information about folks. The scam artists can use social media itself to get on there and see what you're posting about you and your family. You're sharing pictures about your grandchild or your brother or your sister or your uncle. And if depending on how you have your account set up, someone outside of your circle of friends could potentially see that activity. So it's something to be cognizant of. And the same thing applies whenever we talk to youth about online safety. You know, don't post pictures and don't post where you at, where you hang out, because somebody outside of your circle of friends can find out, you know, where you like to hang out and then come with bad intentions and do something. Same thing applies to anyone with social media. You know, social media is a big billboard on the side of a highway talking about your life. That's what social media is. And that is free information for someone that has bad intentions. So keep that in mind. Another social tool that I like to highlight here is romance scams. Scam artists use romance scams, and we'll touch on this in a few minutes. Basically, they create a fake profile. They'll use pictures of an attractive person, and they'll go out there and try to find someone who wants companionship, engage that person, create a friendship, and then there'll be an emergency circumstance where they ask for money. And they will invest a lot of time, days, weeks, months even, into someone to establish that rapport and get money. So it's something that you need to be really cautious of. So social tools, that's some of the examples there. Finally, I like to mention cyber attacks. You know, some scam artists might be a little bit more advanced and have the technical know-how to install programs onto your telephone, onto your computer that have the ability to compromise your information. That's called malware. We also have computer viruses in general. That's a little bit more advanced. It's out there. Basically, they can install this onto your device by tricking you into clicking on something on an email or a text message that would then download something onto your device, okay? So many, many tools that these scam artists can use. What are they after? Money, all right? That's their goal. Here's an example of an email that is portraying itself as the IRS. And it's saying here that that's basically inviting the person, the reader, to click here for their tax return, their transcript, okay? And someone who clicks on this link in blue can then unintentionally install some malware or a virus onto their computer. Another thing that could happen is they can click onto this link, and instead of getting malicious programming installed, it could just lead you to a fake IRS website where then it'll ask you to verify your social security number, your name, your date of birth, your address, and then what you're doing is you're giving your personal information to the scammer that route. All right. So this is a fake email address or a fake email. It's not a legitimate email from the IRS. If you notice there's a phone number, if you look at that phone number, that's probably not an IRS number to call. Okay. It's probably one that they've started to direct you to them. Okay. Here's another one. And this one, let's take note of the email address up top. Okay. So it says it's from the IRS. In the red circle there, the email address that it's from is irs@getrefundnow.com. All right. The IRS is not going to send you email from a .com address. It's going to be like irs.gov. But to my knowledge, I don't think they even email anyone. It's all through the Postal Service. You know, the IRS has those plain black and white letters that they send out to folks, and that's typically the only way they respond. And they're definitely not going to call you by telephone. Okay. So in this one, it's asking the reader to get their tax refund. Okay. They said that they made an error. There's $400 there available to them. And they need to click this link to get started. All right. Hey, $400 that you didn't expect. You would be intrigued and interested, right? And it's kind of like those that may have played a slot machine or played a lottery. It's like, well, let me just try one. Let me just try, because what if I miss out? What if I lose out because I didn't try one more time? So that curiosity that we have, are we lucky today, will kind of get us in trouble if we click on that opportunity, that quote unquote opportunity, by getting started on this link. Okay. These scam artists can call you by telephone, claiming to be the IRS. They can robocall you, saying that your social security number has been suspended, which I'm not sure what that would even mean, other than maybe perhaps you don't have to pay taxes anymore. Another robocall is that the IRS has detected that you have been conducting fraud and is filing a lawsuit against you. Please call this number so we can resolve it. So that's another one. These communications usually end up with you talking to the scammer, and they're asking for your banking information, they're asking for your social security number, and so on. Again, keep in mind that the IRS is not going to call you. They're never going to call you asking for payments. It's going to be a letter through the mail. Using that technology, they're able to spoof their caller ID so that when that phone's ringing at your house or your cell phone, it may say United States IRS, or United States government, Internal Revenue Service. Unfortunately, technology has allowed scam artists to be able to appear like legitimate authorities when they're not. So keep that in mind. You can no longer trust your caller ID. It's not a reliable method of identifying a caller, okay? These IRS scams, they threaten arrest, they threaten lawsuit, they threaten that they're gonna seize your assets, and they want you to make a payment right away. They are even willing to stay on the phone with you while you go to the store and get some money on a gift card and make a payment. Here's a short video from the Federal Trade Commission about IRS imposters.
Scam artists are pretending to be IRS officials to get your money. They'll call, email, or text you, claiming you owe back taxes or there's a problem with your tax return. They even rig caller ID to make the call look official. They play on your fears. They threaten to take your driver's license or sue, arrest, or deport you. They want you to pay fast. What's the truth? The truth is, the IRS's first contact with you will always be a letter in the mail. It's not a phone call, email, or text message. They won't insist that you pay with a prepaid debit card, a wire transfer, or cashier's check. Now you know. Has an IRS imposter contacted you? Report it at ftc.gov/imposters.
All right.
Scam artists are
Here's another one. You get an email and it claims to be a court notice. Either you have to appear in court, or you have jury duty, or you miss jury duty. And there may be a link in that email address that, again, is either going to install malicious software onto your device, or it's going to lead you down a rabbit hole to give your information to the bad guys, okay? So be very, very cautious. You get a notice that's claiming to be from law enforcement or from the courts, you call them using the local phone book or a number that you know is reliable to reach out to them. Don't use a phone number that's in an email that's suspicious, or that's in a mail out that's suspicious, because the scam artist is hoping that you'll call the number that they're giving you so you can talk to the scam artist. This is a real life example from out west, outside the state. I think it was in California. This was a scam that was targeting, I think, like CEOs or high level executives at companies. And it was portraying itself to be a subpoena for a civil case in the United States district courts. So it looks very official, but this is a scam email, okay? This is not a legitimate subpoena. This particular image here was actually shared with me yesterday by someone in Madison County. So this is not too far away, folks. In Madison County, someone got this paper letter, and I'm not sure if they got it in the mail or how they got it, and it's portraying themselves to be the United States Treasury Department. The letter goes on to say that there's some kind of package with money that they're the recipient of, and it was brought to their attention that they're getting this money through the mail, and now they're being fined $255,000 for this because I guess they didn't disclose it or what have you. So this is not a legitimate letter. This is not from the, first off, I don't think it would be the Treasury Department that would investigate this. It would probably be the FBI or Secret Service or something like that. And they're not going to just throw a fine on you. They're going to start it. If it was legitimate, there would be some kind of investigation. They would have to do a search warrant. There's a process to it. It's not going to be a letter suddenly saying you owe $200,000 in fines. Okay. Again, this is out of Madison County. Luckily, they said something to someone, and they were like, "Hold on, let's see." They reached out to someone else who in turn shared it with me. So, just an example. And if we look at this letter a little closely, there's some telltale signs. The English used in the letter is not professional. It's not correct. There's some grammar issues. It's a color logo with a big color seal in the background, and they kind of overdid it and trying to make it look official. There's a seal on the second page, a red seal, but there's no imprint on the seal. They really went overboard, and then they put like a stamp right on top of the signature. They just really tried their best to make it look official. It's a good try, but no. All right, there's other authority scams or imposter scams. These folks will put on these outfits and pretend to be someone with the goal of getting your money, okay? It could be local police, it could be state agencies. There's even been an instance where the scammers impersonated our office at the Office of the Attorney General. So it can happen. Changing gears a little bit, we'll touch base on text messages, all right? I don't know about you, but I know I've been getting a lot of text messages saying that I've won things, just click here or call this number. A lot of them tend to be from Amazon or Venmo lately for me. So here's an example of a text message you could possibly get. It could be from Amazon, or it could claim to be from FedEx, saying that they were not able to deliver your package. But it could be rescheduled. You can make contact with the courier by clicking on this link. And then again, you either could potentially download some stuff to your device that's bad for the device and compromise you, or it's gonna lead you to the scammer where you're giving your information to the scammer. Something to be cautious of. This is a screenshot from my cell phone that I saved it and I put it in this presentation. This is what I got once. Amazon, congratulations, Stephen. So they used my name. You came first in today's Amazon espresso coffee machine draw. Follow the link. Well, that ain't happening, okay? I deleted it after I took a screenshot of it, because it's a really great example. You know, you catching someone in the middle of their day, maybe they had a bad day, someone who loves coffee or always wanted an espresso machine, they might be quick to tap on that link and try to get this free machine. And unfortunately, it's just gonna open a bad can of worms, okay? Another quick short video here. This video is gonna, I'm gonna show you just a little clip of it, but I thought this was an interesting scam, and I'll talk about it here in just a second. This has to do with Amazon.
But first, let's focus on the scam. Like I said, the scam they run is very primitive and simple, but from what I've seen, the scam has a success rate that is way higher than most other scams. First, the scammer sends an email, which you can see on the screen right now. This email tells people that they have ordered something, and if they haven't done this, which obviously they haven't, they should call the Amazon refund team, and the number is given to them. Once you call this number, you get connected to a call center in India, where people like Kedarnath will pick up the phone and do the following.
Please help me out right now. What we are going to do, ma'am, just for the verification, we are going to send you a verification code. Please help me out with the verification code that you are going to receive on your number, okay? All right, just give me a second, let me send it. It will just gonna verify you, as well it will gonna help us out to verify that yes, you are the right lady who received this, okay?
What the scammer is doing here is that he is pretending to send the victim a verification message from Amazon. Well, the message is an actual message from Amazon, but it's to reset the password.
Okay, can I have your name? Okay, and could you please help me out, ma'am? What was the last order that you have purchased from Amazon?
Once the scammer is in and he has changed the victim's password, he starts sniffing around the information and looking for an attached credit card to the Amazon account that he can buy himself gift cards with.
All right, so just for the verification, ma'am, I'm gonna confirm a couple of your orders in the past that you have made. Okay, so the last order that you have placed, it was some zipper, right? Waist training sports workout, right? All right. There was, before that, there was a Claudia Glass Bernon, Lucky Elephant, right?
Luckily, this victim did not have any credit cards attached to her account, and when this is the case, then the scammer changes the victim's Amazon information to make it seem like somebody has hacked their account, and he will try to convince the victim to let him take remote access of their phone or computer by making the victim install TeamViewer.
Yeah.
So I'll stop that video there. It's a longer video that's available on YouTube. But just to recap, what happened is the victim gets an email saying they made a purchase on Amazon. It's like $1,000 purchase. If you didn't make this purchase, call this number. In the email is the phone number. That victim then calls the phone number, which connects them to the scammer that sent the email. That scammer uses the password reset on the Amazon.com site using the email that they have for the victim and request to change the password. When they do that, it sends that verification code to the Amazon customer. Now, to the Amazon customer who's now talking to the scammer, it's going to appear like, the scammer saying, okay, I'm going to send you a verification code to make sure we're dealing with the right person. You get the code on your phone and you read that code to them. Now you've given the scammer the ability to change your password, okay? And now they're in your account. once in the account, they keep playing that role of being customer service by saying, well, let's verify you are who you are because, let's look, what's the last thing you ordered? You ordered something that had something to do with X, Y, and Z, right? Because now they're looking through your order history. So they're able to appear like they're legitimate customer service from Amazon because now they're actually in your account. They're just looking through your history, and they're able to manipulate your address, change your address. They're able to use your credit card information to order gift cards from Amazon, and then take your money that way. So this is just another example of how one can get tricked. And it sounds like a legitimate call center. He sounded pretty professional overall. Someone could easily get tricked into that.
Yes.
Okay. So we're running short on time. So we got about 15 minutes left. But a grandparent scam is another scam that can target older adults. This is one where you get a phone call and the scammer tries to impersonate a loved one, whether that be a grandchild or someone else. They use general broad statements. Unfortunately, sometimes older adults could be a little hard of hearing and may not have a little trouble recognizing the voice on the telephone, and unintentionally, give the name to the scammer. So, Fred, is that you? And then the scammer's like, yeah, mom, it's me, it's Fred. I'm in some trouble. I just got arrested for DWI, and I'm in jail. I need to get out tonight because I gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna lose my job. But for me to bond out tonight, I need $300. Can you please get me $300? But don't tell my wife or don't tell so-and-so. Let's keep this between us because this is embarrassing for me. Or something to that effect. It could be a different story. It could be that they were traveling and got involved in a car accident, or got in trouble with some authorities out of the country or what have you. So when you get these kinds of calls, hang up and call the person. If they're impersonating your grandchild, then call your grandchild or call their mom or whoever. But verify that a lot of times you'll find out that they are just fine. They're not on a trip outside the country, or they're not on a trip out of town. They're at home watching TV. And so be very cautious. This is called a grandparent scam. On social media, again, like I mentioned before, everything you post on social media is like a big billboard for your life on the side of a highway, and anyone passing by and taking the time to look can take a very good glimpse of what's going on. When you post on social media, you're given names, you're given pictures, faces, so you're identifying people visually. And a lot of the times, these pictures come with the ability to tag. You post a picture up of you enjoying a good time with your family, and next thing you know, in that picture, you have tags of your grandchildren and other family members. That allows someone viewing that picture to then click and access the profile of that person. It's a network of information that you're putting out there, and scam artists know that information is there. They can use social media to get into your circle. So even if you do have good privacy settings, if you get a friend request from someone you don't know, don't accept it. Don't allow that person into your circle. Once you accept that friend request, and I'm talking about Facebook in this particular instance, you get a friend request, and it's someone you don't want to be rude, right? You don't want to get somebody upset. Why didn't you accept my friend request I sent you? So you might just add someone even though you don't remember them at the moment and say, oh, I'll just figure it out later. Or maybe it's someone I met at church or what have you. Don't add folks you don't know, because once they're inside your circle, then they can see more detailed information about you. And they can see all your friends, depending on how you have your settings set up on your social media account. Another thing that they could do is take your pictures, right? So take all your pictures that you have, because now they're friends with you, or even the pictures that are available to the public, save it to their computer, and then create another profile that looks just like yours. And then they'll send friend requests to all the people that you have on your friends list under the story that, oh, I got locked out of my account. Here's my new Facebook account. Or my other account just got hacked. Don't listen to the other account. This is the new me. This is the correct account, when in reality, that's the scammer. Saying that the real account's the scammer. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be very cautious when you're interacting with social media, when you get friend requests from folks you don't know, when you get friend requests from someone that's already on your friends list. I got an uncle that unfortunately is not on my friends on Facebook anymore, because I've gotten like 4 or 5 friend requests from him, and I just don't know which one's the real him anymore. I don't know if he's legitimately getting locked out, and I really haven't invested the time to call him to check. But because of the dangers that are out there, he's just not on there no more. He's off the friends list. Okay, so do be mindful of those kinds of things to protect yourself. They can send messages portraying to be you, either from your legitimate account because they have your password, or from a clone account that is made to look like your account, and say that there's some kind of emergency. And if they send that out to your Facebook friends, hey, I'm in trouble, I'm short for the electricity bill this month, and they're going to cut me off. Can you please get me $100? But I need it today, so if you could send it to me by a gift card, by credit card, that would really be helpful, you know. And if it's someone that really knows you and really cares for you, and they're seeing it's a message from your account, they're going to think it's you, and next thing you know, they're getting money from your friends and family, okay, as they impersonate you. With the lottery scams, I'll boil it down to this. It's, if you didn't actually buy a ticket, you don't remember buying a ticket, then you probably wasn't in the lottery, all right? If you didn't buy a scratch off, well, first off, if you buy a scratch off, you're probably gonna find out within the next few minutes when you get to your car with your coin and scratch it out, you're gonna know if you won. If you buy any other lottery ticket like Powerball or Mega Millions, I mean, the way you're gonna find out is either you see it on TV because you're watching the news, or you check in the newspaper, or you going onto their Mega Millions and lottery website, Virginia lottery website, and you're gonna find out that way. What happens when someone who wins the lottery doesn't check their numbers or loses their ticket? Nothing. They lose out. That money rolls on to the next lottery, all right? The lottery folks are not gonna call you and say, hey, you have the winning ticket, you just didn't realize. It's not gonna happen, okay? So someone calls you saying that you won the lottery, it's most likely a scam. They're gonna ask you for a form of payment to cover taxes or for some legal fees. And next thing you know, a few days go by and there's some more fees, and they're milking you for money over the course of several weeks. So don't fall for this lottery scam. If you have questions about something like this, show your local police officer, show me, you know, and I'll take a look at it. But I've never heard of anyone winning a lottery they don't recall playing, okay? And keep in mind, it is illegal to play a foreign lottery, all right? So if they say you won the lottery in a different country, well, that's illegal, first off, so don't even go down that route, okay? This next video is about lotteries, but for the sake of time, we're gonna skip it. But this lady lost, I think it was like $27,000 because they told her she won the lottery. Here, pay this. A few days later, oh, we got some more fees, pay this. A few days later, next thing you know, she lost $27,000. This is a retired school principal, all right? This is someone who's, you know, been a community leader, is educated, you know, but she got tricked. And luckily she shared this, her story. This is from WCVB Channel 5 Boston on YouTube, but we'll skip it for the sake of time. Romance scams, online dating, all right? I mentioned this earlier. They'll create fake profiles. They'll invest the time to talk with you and create a relationship with you. But The main purpose of it is to get money from you at some point, okay? There's some red flags, you know, if you start talking to someone online and after like a week, they're like, I love you and you're the best thing and all this. All right, come on, all right. They're becoming interested too quickly. That's a big telltale sign that you're dealing with a scam artist. They're typically not available to meet you in person because either they're in the military, so they're stationed out of state or out of country. They could be an oil field worker. They're out on the rig and they can't come see you, or they're traveling for work. They always have a story. They're not accessible. So you can't verify who they are because you can't meet them at the local coffee shop. All right. They might be able to talk to you by phone. They might even be able to video conference with you, but they're not actually going to be accessible to you to really verify who they are. And at some point in time, there's going to be an emergency. Like, okay, I broke my leg and now I don't know what I'm going to do because money's already tight and I got this hospital bill for like $1,000, you know, and someone who's now seeing this person as their companion may be willing to send them $1,000 for this supposed medical bill. Okay. Just a quick example of how these online dating scams kind of unfold. This topic is typically a presentation on its own, okay? But for the sake of time, again, we're gonna skip it, but we'll play this short video here.
Looking for love in all the right places? Like popular dating sites, mobile apps, and social networking sites? Ron seems like a perfect match for you. He's thoughtful and says he can't live without you. He says he's from the US but works out of the country. He says he wants to visit but says he can't afford it. He asks you to send him money. Last month it was medical bills for his sick aunt. This month he needs money to fix his car. Next month, who knows? Ron wants your money. Don't send it. The person pretending to be Ron is a scammer. He'll tell you anything to get you to wire cash right away. He'll never run out of excuses. If an online love interest asks you for money, walk away, no matter how compelling the story. Report scams at ftc.gov/imposters.
So, quick little video about that. And I'm not saying all online dating is bad because there is some good people out there that do resort to online dating for various reasons. I met my wife through online dating, okay? We used Tinder. And it was the day I said I was tired of being on there, and I was like, I'm deleting it today. But let me look just real quick before I delete it. And I found her. And it just so happened that I matched her, and then the thing said, oh, you matched. She matched you too. So now y'all could talk. And we started talking. Now, at the time, I was a sheriff's deputy in Texas. So I'm like being cautious and trying to watch who I'm dealing with. And I invited her. Well, let me back up. We started texting, and then talking on the phone. And my wife's a very type A personality. I told her she should have been a cop because I think it was on the second or third day, she's like, so are you gonna ask me out or what we're doing? So I called her. I said, well, I was waiting until we talk on the phone, but yeah, let's meet for coffee. And I met her at a coffee shop. It's a public place. You know, you want to go meet someone at a public place. Met her at the coffee shop just to verify who she was, you know, because I was still, you know, wondering if the person that I've been communicating by this app and by text and now this one phone call, is it really her? And so I joke about it even to today. I was like, well, I had to bring her to the coffee shop, verify who she was, and make sure I was getting what I was ordering. And then after that went good, okay, let's do a real date. And we did a real date that following Friday. And here we are 5 years later, still together. So there is the ability to go out there and do online dating, but you need to be very cautious and mindful of some of the threats that happen out there. We do have healthcare scams that target older adults. They typically want your Medicare or Medicaid information. They'll use the storyline that you either are available for a discount or that you have qualified for a free device through a special program. We just need to verify some information and we'll get it to you. And so then they'll get your information that route. Richmond's calling me on the house phone. Okay, so healthcare scams, that's something to be aware of. You also have your door-to-door scammers. Those are still out there. Up here, we call them woodchucks. They may not be called woodchucks in all parts of the state, but these are the folks that come knocking at your door, offering to redo your driveway or patch a hole in the roof that they say they see. And next thing you know, you're giving them money and the work's not done, or it's subpar work. So be very cautious of anyone that comes knocking at your door to do business. Know that in Virginia, you have 3 days to back out of a contract that you sign at your house. That's in the law. So that's if it's a legitimate business. If you're dealing with someone that's not legitimate, though, you know, what do, right? They don't have a regard for the law. The Department of Occupational and Professional Regulation, DPOR, they have a website that's available to you. You could check someone's license if they fall within a profession that requires some kind of licensing. So if you look up DPOR on Google, it should probably bring you to dpor.virginia.gov, I think is what it is. And you can look up someone's license. You want to test it, test out your cosmetologist, test out your barber, because their license should be on there. So when you get someone trying to do business at your house, verify that they are a legitimate business, verify their license, check the Better Business Bureau, but be very, very cautious, especially if they're like in just a regular truck and they're claiming that they were just passing through your neighborhood and noticed X, Y, and Z on your house. And now they're there. They got extra material. They can get the job done for you real cheap, but you got to do it today because the material's got to go back. You know, that's their storyline. The list goes on and on. Again, I mean, we could be here for more than an hour. Just be aware that it's out there. There's various resources available to you should you find yourself a victim of one of these scams. Identity theft, you know, if they get your information, put a credit freeze on all 3 of your credit reports. Everyone has a credit report with these 3 main bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. It does not cost money to put a credit freeze on your credit report, okay? Some bureaus may offer an extra service that they're trying to sell you, but it is free to freeze your credit. And you can specify, I think it's like a year or up to 2 years. I don't recall exactly, but you can set it. And once you freeze your credit, no one can pull your credit and open accounts without some extra verification. And usually that involves a call to you on whatever phone number you specify. So that's one of the steps you should do immediately. And you don't have to be a victim of identity theft to do this. You could just choose to do this on your own free will. You know, today when you get home, you decide you want to freeze your credit, you can go to the website, do it online, or you can call them and freeze it just to have it as a little extra safeguard. Obviously, file a police report if you are a victim with your local law enforcement. Federal agencies also would like for you to additionally report it to them. So you got the Federal Trade Commission is one. The FBI has IC3. There's a few different places that you could report it to, but one of my favorites is the Elder Fraud Hotline. That's run by the Department of Justice. The Elder Fraud Hotline is basically guarantees that you're not going to get stuck in an automated call. You'll have someone live pick up, and they'll kind of be like your case manager and help guide you through the different reports you got to do. That is the number for Elder Fraud Hotline is 833-FRAUD-11. So that's 833-FRAUD-11, FRAUD 11. So that's the number for the Elder Fraud Hotline. AARP has the Fraud Watch hotline. They're really great because AARP has been around for all the time, as far as I know, and they have the great resource there. And I do believe that they help folks who may not be members. I'll let maybe Martin answer that in a little bit. But there's a lot of resources. Here's another one. I encourage you to take a picture of this screen if you can. So you report it to your local law enforcement, notify the 3 credit bureaus. There's the phone numbers for the credit bureaus. Notify the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. We have at our office a program called the Identity Theft Passport Program, which basically is like a document from our office that certifies that you are in fact a victim of identity theft and have filed a criminal report. So that may assist you. Someone's going out there doing things in your name and maybe getting some warrants out for your arrest, when in reality it's not you, it might be someone else. This is a document that confirms that you are in fact a victim of identity theft, and our office is vouching for that. And there's that elder fraud hotline there. Our office online website offers a consumer complaint database. You can look up a business and see if there's any complaints on there that have been filed through our office. We have a hotline there to report a complaint if you have a problem with a business that you've done business with, and our consumer protection unit will try to assist, or it will refer your complaint to the appropriate agency. Okay, they act more like, our office acts more like mediators, try to come to a resolution, but it's a great resource for you to have. I must mention to you that we have the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. If you know of any Medicaid fraud, please report that to our hotline, which is there, 800-371-0824. We have a whole division dedicated to Medicaid fraud and elder abuse and neglect. This can involve a variety of different methods and could also be a presentation in itself. More on that on our website, ag.virginia.gov. And just to close out real quick, Triad. So this is a Triad series. Triad is a program that's basically meant to bring law enforcement entities and other professionals together to kind of share information about scams, frauds, safety, health. And so the goal is to really protect our older adults from becoming the victims of crime. It's a great program. Not all localities have it. If that locality is interested, feel free to reach out to our office or myself, and we can talk a little bit more about it. But we do a lot of outreach by Triad by giving programs like this, either in person, online. We can do tables at events. Triad's a really great program, and it's a good opportunity to socialize with other folks as well. It's all volunteer, and each Triad individually kind of develops their own personalities. So I could say that there's one in Orange, we have one out in Luray, another one in Winchester. So they're throughout the state. Now, if you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. Attorney General Herring takes this very seriously, and he wants to make sure that we're pushing out this information about scams and frauds to the public, because these scammers don't stop. The scams don't stop. They keep coming in new forms and fashion. There's my contact information. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend a little over an hour with me today. And I'll now kick it over to Lisa Dotson for some closing remarks or questions and answers if y'all wish to stick around for that.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephen. That was an awesome presentation. We want to open it up and see if there's any questions that anyone has for Stephen today. You can unmute and ask those questions, or if you would like to, you can put them in the chat. And I'm just going to check the chat really quick here to see. I don't see any questions per se here.
Lisa, while you're on chat, this is Martin Bailey. The comment about AARP Fraud Watch Network is free to anybody. All they have to do is call the number up and they will be, they'll have a volunteer. Either the volunteer will be able to help them immediately, or they will be put over to another volunteer who will be able to help them, someone like myself, or we have 1 or 2 other people in Virginia that will help them. And it doesn't matter what part of the state, what part of the United States you call from. And so far, we've been getting close to about 500 calls a day from people either reporting fraud or needing help on the fraud. And for Medicare Patrol, or for Medicare fraud and abuse, Senior Medicare Patrol will handle that. That's Virginia Senior Medicare Patrol. We handle fraud, abuse, and errors in the Medicare system.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, Martin. Anybody else have questions for Stephen?
Well, y'all have my contact information. If you think of a question, or maybe it might be a little too shy to mention it here on a recorded webinar, but you can call me, you can email me if you want to talk about something that's happened or questions. I'm around. I'm here to be accessible to you. So I encourage you to call.
That was great information, Stephen. I mean, every time I hear a presentation, it seems like there's more information or different. I was amazed with the Amazon scam. That really kind of hit home, because I feel like that's one I could easily fall prey to myself. So really good information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was great. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate everybody being here today. And certainly this is a recorded presentation that Stephen did for us, and Aging Together will post this on the Aging Together website, which is www.agingtogether.org. So if you'd like to see it again, or if you have a friend or someone that you think might benefit, please send them to the website. And we just appreciate you coming today, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.